Hey guys, welcome back to the Pro Mentality. I'm your host, Lauren Sesselmann, and I have my amazing co-host, Darius, with me today. And today on the podcast, we have the incredible Khiry Shelton. So you go to college, let's get into the good stuff. And then you get drafted second overall in the super draft. How did that feel? How did that moment feel? I mean, that is a pretty special moment. All that hard work that you did, blood, sweat, and tears to get to that moment. Were you prepared? Is that what you wanted to do with your career? Or did it kind of just stumble upon you? How did that make you feel?
Yeah, the draft was wild. I had pretty much my whole family there. There was just tons of emotions just going through my body. Didn't know if I wanted to cry, wanted to scream.
Yep.
No, there was just tons of emotions.
I can attest to that. That's incredible. And then, you're going to New York City, FC. So how is that? That's a completely different mindset. I think I read something because you said that being at Sporting KC, it felt like home to you. It just felt different than the vibe when you were in New York. And you've had the opportunity to play over in Germany too.
I actually want to take it back a little bit, real quick, because there's a lot of, combines and camps for kids to get into that draft or to go pro. Yeah. I'm sure you might remember that one that was for the MLS Super Draft or that environment. What do you think you did well to stand out? To come number 2 in, overall in the draft? What do you think you did well in the combines, and what advice you would have for kids, stepping into a combine situation, nerves reckoning, day one? What advice would you have for kids like that?
I would tell them to not pay attention to anybody else. And it's hard to because, you hear about these players, but just if you are able to look at yourself and be like, I'm here for a reason and I'm good enough, once you get into the testing and then the games, everything else will take care of itself.
How was your transition from getting onto a college team? Or what was that like for you? Was it very competitive in Texas or?
Yeah, so the transition from Colorado, I was playing when I was younger, and the transition when I moved to Texas was hard for me. Texas is a huge state, and there's tons of talent there. It took me a while. I can tell you I wasn't the best player out there, and had to work on my own day in and day out with my coach. But it was hard, man. It was one of the hardest things, trying to adjust and get used to a new environment and new faces.
Does that affect your play, or that doesn't really matter to you where you move to?
I think my childhood has made it easy for me with transitioning from place to place. That transition was crazy because I went from Texas to Oregon State. Which I've never really spent time in the Pacific Northwest, and it's a different scene.
It's different.
It's very different.
I do want to ask you, because it's different for everybody. I know my process was a lot different, and I'm a lot older than you, but the whole college process, what was the process like for you? Were you really proactive, or did the colleges just come to you? Were you playing in a lot of showcases? Kind of, how did you get noticed and go to Oregon?
I did a bunch of showcases. So I played Development Academy. I think it started when I was a freshman in high school. I started with that, and then, we did showcases. We were traveling all over, but showcasing, it was tough. I mean, there's a lot of showcases, and, colleges are all out there, and, you see them and you start to get butterflies in your stomach because you have to perform well to be seen. So, but that was a frustrating process for me. I worked hard day in and day out to get seen by colleges. And my first 3 years in college, I played I call it the Oregon State curse that I had. I played the first 3 years, the first 3 seasons. I would play 4 or 5 games, and then after that 5th game, I was injured. And then out. College season is pretty short, so I was out for the rest of the season until springtime each time. So I decided I needed to do something different. I got in the gym my junior year after I got hurt. Got in the gym, worked on myself, focused on my body and paying attention to that, and then had a good senior year and didn't pay attention to anyone else. I was just
nice.
I was just like, hey, I'm in the zone, and I was like, the world's against me right now. Let's prove them wrong.
I love that. I've had my share of injuries, and it's hard. I don't think people really understand what you're going through until you're in that position. And you've had your fair share of injuries throughout your entire career. And how do you kind of cope with that? And what's some advice that you can give to these kids? Because I know I get asked that question a lot. You had this injury. How did you deal with it? People didn't think you were going to come back and play and make an impact. And now look at the career that you've had after all these injuries. And what advice would you give to them?
Great question. You're going to get injured. Part of it. And it's frustrating. Especially with me, it was just like watching other people play the sport I love. Some people take advantage of it, and they just, they don't realize how blessed they are. So that's a lot of frustration for me. But then, I think once you get into a level where you understand that you have a different objective. So I switched my mindset from, I'm injured and this sucks and, I hate this and why did this happen to me, to, okay, how am I going to get back sooner? I remember my coach, he had me picking up balls and cones after training, and I'm in a boot and crutches. And, once I got out of the crutches and the boot and was able to start running, there's a song by Drake. I'm pretty sure everyone's probably familiar with it, or him. But there's a song that really touched me in a way where I was able to just silence everything else and just run and just get back to that freedom of being able to move around and things like that. So I'm a deep person. I love music. Yeah. All music I have no favorite genre, but music is the outlet.
And now you're back at Sporting KC. How happy are you?
Oh, I am so happy. When I left here in 2018 to go to Germany, we went to the finals of the conference finals, and we played against Portland, and we lost. I was heartbroken because by the time that game came, I knew I was not going to be here after that season. So, I'm so thrilled to be back here, and this is a place I call home. Just the organization, the people, the city. It's a sports city. It's just amazing.
No, I was just going to ask. I've never been to Kansas City, so I want to know.
Gosh.
So I want to know what does a pro player do in Kansas City in his off time? You just chill at the crib. You guys just go to the movies, or like your teammates like connect. What do you guys do? A kid wondering, and a fan of Kansas City, like, where could I find Khiry?
I'm a homebody, so
I feel you.
I train, I come home, and I'm usually home the whole day. I'm a gamer. I love gaming.
Oh,
can you teach me? I got the chair.
Yeah, I got the chair.
Hold on.
Not a console. Not even a console. I got the chair.
Yeah. So,
I love it.
I'm a big gamer.
I can play Mario Kart. That's it.
That's what everybody says when they don't know. I can play Mario Kart. Everybody says I can play Mario Kart.
FIFA and Mario Kart. That's all I can do.
FIFA's dope.
I'm gonna learn.
Okay, I play Fortnite. That's my game.
Hey, you know what? watch out because I'm coming.
You have a Twitch and everything, huh?
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining the Pro Mentality. And everyone stay tuned for this amazing interview, and then also stay tuned for our next week's one. Thank you guys, and thank you for joining us.